What is up, guys? Welcome to my third episode of the Learning Urien series, where today we'll be talking about anti-airs and what anti-airs to use. I know this sounds pretty basic, but we're actually going to go pretty in-depth. We're going to start out basic with just Urien's normal button anti-airs and when to use Urien's normal anti-airs in neutral and stuff. We're also going to go in-depth with how to actually use Urien's vtrigger 1 and 2 for anti-airing in the game. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, Urien's anti-air buttons in the game, the more common known anti-air buttons on the ground are stand hard kick, crouch hard punch, forward medium punch. That is his go-to anti-air buttons for different ranges. They are good for different ranges. If you have Ryu kind of jumping in from this range, you know he's not really threatening too much with an actual jump in. You can poke him out there with a forward medium punch. If he's this close and he's gonna jump over you to do a cross up, then hard kick is really good. If he's at this range, the fireball range, where you know you threaten with a fireball, and he also threatens with fireballs, you know, and you make him jump, you use crouch hard punch. This is kind of the range. You can also use crouch hard punch a bit closer if you hit him with the peak of the elbow as he's jumping over you, but preferred range is around here to like maybe here. So it's all about like learning your ranges with Urien. Urien is I saw this in a Discord. I can't remember who said it. I saw this. Someone mentioned this in a chat. Urien is a very old school kind of anti-air, guys. You're committing to your options. Urien has great anti-airs, but you have to be very ready to use them. You have to be understanding of he might jump in, and you have to be ready to use your anti-airs. It's not like many where it's okay, he's jumping, time to just use my invincible anti-air. Urien doesn't have an invincible anti-air move besides his EX headbutt, and that's only very situational because it moves him forward and upwards, so he has a hard time anti-airing a lot of jump-ins with it. So when you're in neutral and you're kind of committing to buttons, you can't really do like an anti-air after doing like stand hard punches. If you do like stand medium kicks or crouch medium kicks, it's also very hard to get a anti-air off after it because Urien's anti-airs are very slow. His fastest anti-air is this, and it's 7 frames, and this is also 8 frames now, 7 frames now. Okay, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, slower anti-airs, not like Kami's back medium punch, which is like 4 frames, or a Ryu invincible DP, which is 3 frames. Yeah, you're committed when you do anti-airs, and you have to be ready for the person to jump. That's the key word with anti-airing with Urien. You have to be ready for a jump. If you have good reactions, that's good. That's really good because that means you can like react to jumps when you're actually focusing hard on neutral, on footsies and stuff. But it comes with time being like ready to just anti-air when you see the jump, not thinking about it. It comes with time, but in the start you have to be very mindful of it. And how do you practice actually anti-airing with these moves? Simply, we have a clear rear butt here, and I set up some different options. So we have these, and this is different jump options. Some of them are for cross-ups, some of them are for straight jump-ins. And we just set the rear butt to do all of them. And you just practice hitting all of them. And when you get hit, counter hit, trying to do an anti-air, take note of the range, what button you used, and see that didn't work from that range. So you shouldn't do that anti-air button from that range. That's like, oh, he's straight off. So he's trying to jump over me. We're doing those. He's closer. Let's try moving a bit further away from him. Okay, we can do this one. Let's try moving further away. We can do this one. And just practice like just hitting the buttons, timing the anti-airs. Just practice it. Of course, see, I got counter hit that. That means that's better from that range. We move further away. We can do that. We can try to do crouch hard punch with this range. Okay, that actually worked. Okay, even further away. Right. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, he put out a button so he could counter it, but yeah, you get the idea. Urien has good anti-air buttons for specific ranges, and you just need to be ready for it. So that's Urien's basic anti-air buttons and how to use them. If you go a bit more in depth with what you can actually like, of course, you have other options. This is just like the basic anti options, but you have like you can do like stuff like that. Like It's really just the main game is to just knock him out of there, whatever it takes. Like just get him out of the air, make him stay on the ground. Like you can be very traditional and do like the planned anti-air moves, but this is also really good. These are also really good air-to-air moves you can use, like just neutral jump, stand hard kick, neutral jump, medium kick, jump back, stand hard kick, jump forward, medium punch, like jump forward, hard punch. Like you can do all these things. It's fair enough. It's fair game. The key thing is to get him out of the air and not pressuring you. It's better in the start when you're learning how to anti-air. It's better to actually just go for it, take the hit, lose the points, whatever. You're learning. You're learning the game. It's better for you to get hit trying than not trying all and just freeze and block and get in block stun. If you just keep blocking and not trying to anti-air, you're gonna keep blocking and not trying to anti-air. So you'll never learn it. It's better to just do it, get hit for it, learn why you got hit, move on, try again. I know it's like kind of like, you know, the stove is hot kind of thing, you know, like don't touch the stove because it's hot. You keep getting burned when you try to anti-air, but just keep doing it. Eventually you're gonna understand how to do it, and just main game is just stop him from pressuring you. Get him out here, stop him from jumping. Make him fear jumping in. Make him fear jumping in general, neutral jump, back jump. Make him scared of doing that stuff. Make him grounded. Urien works best if the opponent is very grounded. But so yeah, that is the main options for Urien when they jump in. Okay, a different thing. I actually didn't record this, so let's just do a quick recording. Let's just take this one. Let's just first we need to turn all these off. When I've seen a lot of people talk about how it's really hard to anti-air people when they're new to jumping right in your face, because stand hard punch, what doesn't work, they get behind you and it's a mess. You stand hard kick, you can get counter hit. So the best option, the option I like to use is let's just do this like that. So what I like to do if people do this is like the best range for stand hard kick, the EX headbutt. That's the best way to use it. I did it too early. That's like the best way to use EX headbutt, and it's the most applicable way to use EX headbutt as an anti-air. When you get knocked down in the corner and they throw you in the front and they're gonna do a neutral jump because they think you're not gonna be able to anti-air, it's gonna be hard because you have to keep holding down, which is very, I know, counterintuitive. You want to stand block the jumping, but if you keep holding down, waiting for them to get down on the ground or close to the ground, and then you do EX headbutt, you're gonna get rewarded with having all the pressure in the world. You're getting a good knockdown situation. You can get out of the corner, a lot of good stuff from it. So it's something you need to learn how to do, that you don't on reaction or on instinct stand block the neutral jump. You have to commit to the down, EX headbutt. So that's just a small thing with that. Great. Those Urien's normal options for anti-airing and what you can do, and some of the mantras behind anti-airing. I know a lot of people struggle with when they start doing fighting games, so I just really wanted to get out of the way, the basic stuff. So now let's move on to some bit more complicated and a bit more fancy stuff. Let's start with vtrigger 2 and see what we can actually do with vtrigger 2. So we're just gonna switch over to Cammy because he's a character I like using vtrigger 2 against, and we're gonna see how you can use vtrigger 2 as a anti-air. Okay, now we have a Cammy and we have our vtrigger 2 setup. So the reason I would choose Cammy for this is because vtrigger 2 is a great anti-air move when you're against a character that has a lot of different jumping possibilities. So like, because Urien, as I said, you have to be ready and commit and know when to use a specific anti-air move. But the problem with against Cammy, Rashid and some other characters, dive kick characters in particular, is they can change up their jump bar. So the anti-air button you might need to use from that jump bar can change and you need to use from the other button. And instead of going through that whole process of kind of guessing or reading your opponent and what they want to do and struggling with it, I use vtrigger 2 because I have set Cammy up here with doing some different options. So this is all kinds of different all kinds of different all kinds of different dive kick options. So we have some EX dive kicks, we have some normal dive kicks, and And you can even make some normal jump-ins, because normal jump-ins require a different kind of anti-air. It did get better. Let me say, it did get better in the new season 3. It did get better, and it's easier to anti-air Cammy's dive kicks. But you can still get in situations where it's really hard. And yeah, let's try just anti-airing a bit, like. Yeah, see, so I'm getting good anti-airs right now, but of course this is also dummy, so it makes it easier because I can kind of see the number, and yeah, you can see stand hard kick actually works really well. But if Cammy does a normal jump in stand hard kick, I'm gonna be messed up by this. So yeah, so instead of like taking this mix up, even though I anti-aired perfectly there, but it's against a dummy, it's not a real match scenario. Trust me, it gets way harder when you actually get up against Cammy that knows how to dive kick. I don't know how to use the dive kick probably. I'm not a Cammy player. I only mess around with her a little bit. When you get up against a real good Cammy player, it gets really hard to anti-air these kind of things. And instead of going through that guessing process of what kind of jumping the Cammy players do, I like to do vtrigger 2, because you can just do this. And now the guessing is come down to 2 things. Is she gonna empty jump into throw, which you can also punish if you just release a bit earlier than she's gonna do the throw, or is she gonna do a jump in with a button? Because if you stand at the right range, which is kind of cross hard punch range, sorry. If you stand at cross hard punch range, you can cross you up, and you'll always hit your V-trigger shoulder if she does a button, and you can also hit it if she does like empty jump throw. You just have to be ready for her to kind of hit the ground, release before she hits the ground, and she's gonna get counter hit because she's doing a throw. So like, so that's when vtrigger 2 gets good. Trust me. I know I made it look kind of easy, and I know I didn't do a good representation of how hard it actually is, but this is kind of a Cammy matchup thing, because she's the one that it's the hardest against entering normally with. But I've seen people use vtrigger 2 against Akuma for the jump in fireballs, because it's one hit fireball. You can V-trigger, go through the fireball, hit him as he's falling down. I've seen people do it against the Rashid. I like to do it against, very offensive Rashids that like to do the dive kick. They like to do eagle spikes and stuff like that. You can parry with that. So that's just a bit about vtrigger 2 and how you can actually use this V-trigger to anti-air. Other thing, just quickly here. V-trigger, Cammy in V-trigger, her dive kick is very different from a lot of other dive kicks. It has a lot of hits, so if I try to I'm gonna get hit because it's multiple hit. So what I like to do to anti-air Cammy's V-trigger 1 dive kick, which a lot of Cammys activate and they do go for a jump. No, some Cammys realize that you can anti-air it. I like to do this anti-air. Oh, sorry about that. Oh my god. Yeah, as you can see, I like to use EX hit, but I'm really bad with Cammy. I'm so sorry. I can't do a good representation of how Cammy players actually work. I'm sorry, Cammy players out there, but it's the best because it comes down so fast. You can't use your normal anti-air buttons. You're gonna get counter hit. You can do a jump hard kick and hope that you don't get clipped as you're jumping. If you're gonna do it on reaction, else you have to predict it. And if you try to predict and she does it a bit faster, she ends the ground, she can DP you and back medium punch you. So I like to just do an EX headbutt to counter the Cammy V-trigger 1 dive kick. That's the best options you can. I think, this is all of course my opinions, this is why it's a very good option. I'm sorry I can't depict it probably, but yeah, trust me guys. I tried to show it, but yeah, I messed a bit up. But you get that point. Okay, so that's V-trigger 2 and how you can use that against dive kick characters, or characters that put a lot of pressure on you with their jump-ins. So let's move on to V-trigger 1 and actually show some pretty dope stuff, some pretty dope things you can do with that V-trigger. Okay, we're back with Rio. Now we have V-trigger 1 as you see again, and we're set to do some new options. So, some things you can do with V-trigger 1. I think you all have seen this, but in a fireball game, let's say you're in a fireball game with Rio and you force him to jump a fireball. anti-aim with a vtrigger 1 is actually really good and can give some really good damage in different situations. And I just want to show off some different situations you can do with it. So we have, let's say we have Ryu here, and he's gonna back off, and he's gonna jump on my fireballs. Let's see what we can do about that. Next time probably. That's some good damage for an anti-air, if I have to say so myself. Of course you use a lot of bar, but that can be very good, especially against grapplers that have a very high jump arc and just want to jump that fireball because they think they're in the clear. It's a very far away anti-air too, so a lot of people won't expect you to be able to anti-air from that range, but Urien can with this vtrigger 1. That's one option you can do to mess with your opponents with vtrigger 1 as an anti-air. Another thing is, as I said before, with the EX headbutt to anti-air, you can actually also use vtrigger 1 to anti-air this kind. So we said Ryu, but I think it's this one I said to do it. So Ryu's gonna go up and he's gonna throw it. Damn, that can actually hit. It's a bit tricky because you have to activate the mirror at a good time. So yeah, that's pretty damn good. Again, another option where you trade some damage. So of course you can't do it if you're about to die, but it's a good get off me move with a lot of pressure behind it. So that's another option you really can do with this vtrigger 1 to get some more damage. Of course you can experiment with it. vtrigger 1 is such a versatile move, it's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, you can experiment with that. So that was some pretty, like, you know, some other situations. Now for the more interesting stuff, because a lot of Uriens hate being crossed up. It's one of the things that the Uriens don't are particularly well at dealing with. It's so hard to anti-air cross-ups. vtrigger 1 can help with this. You can discuss if it's a good use of vtrigger 1, but you can use it. So we are gonna, I think it's this one. So we're gonna get Ryu to throw us again. Cross you up. Whoops. But yeah, you guys can see why this is going. As I said, this is pretty tricky. This is advanced. Now we're in the advanced stuff, yeah. So you can do stuff like that. Again, of course, this is with Ryu and characters have this different jump arcs, but you know, it's an option against most characters that's gonna crush you up. Actually, oops. You can also do this. You can see the timing is a bit tricky on it. There's some tricky elements in this. There's a headbutt, and that's the V-trigger itself, as you can see. It's too early. If you get that, that's because you're doing it too early. Way too early. Ryu hasn't crossed us up yet. And that's I actually don't. I think it's because I did it too early again. Okay. I'm not gonna spend too much time trying to show it. But what you can also do is you can do a light shoulder into super. So that's also really neat. You can go practice that in training mode. But this is only the tip of the iceberg with this V-trigger cross-up thing, because I see a lot of Uriens I have trouble with this too. I have trouble with dealing with cross-ups in the corner. You know, you get jumped, you get thrown, and people think, okay, I'm gonna cross up the Urien because then he can't EX headbutt me, and I'm gonna be safe, and I can throw him into the corner again. I can do a meaty. I have a thing now where I can get pure pressure off him. You can't do that if you have V-trigger 1. Let's see. Yeah. So we're gonna do the same thing. Oh, damn. You can actually get that cross hard punch. This is advanced stuff. Now we're in the suddenly he's in the corner, lost 25% of his HP, about to die, and you still have one mirror to use. That's pretty good in my opinion. So that's some of the options. You can experiment. As I said, Urien is a very experimental character, and you can do a lot of things on your own to play around with him. And this is some of the stuff you can do, like with the vtrigger one. Vtrigger one is still, I've seen so many uses for NCS vtrigger one. You know, you see Nemo, Dogora do their thing with vtrigger one. I see replays from other famous, like other Uriens do other stuff with it. I see people still finding new stuff with vtrigger 2. It's still very unexplored. This is just some options you can do with the vtriggers to NCS people. And I hope you also like learn something from seeing the basic NCS if you needed that. And that's basically it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking these videos. Thank you so much for commenting, wanting to know different stuff. Please write in the comments below what you want to know. I've seen a lot of good suggestions for videos, and they're on my list now of stuff I want to film and talk about in the coming weeks. So yeah, please share this video if you like it. Like it if you like it, of course. Subscribe if you want notifications from new videos. I do these once a week, and I also do like I try to upload every day like different matches, so you can see how I play matchups against good players. And besides, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. See ya.